welcome to the Lady Yum Yum Show. Today I'm making a summer staple from my house, which are Boston baked beans. We love them on all sorts of outdoor food events, barbecues, picnics, whatever, and eat them quite a few times over the summer. And it was actually a viewer request as well from Burning ITX, who asked for some kind of sweet baked beans. So here's my version, which I use a slow cooker to make. Makes them really simple. The first thing anytime you're baking or making any kind of beans is to sort through your beans. So this is a pound of beans. And I'll just put them on a cookie sheet and shake them around. And you can easily pick through them and get any of the defective beans, or sometimes you'll even find small stones in them. You could crack a tooth on this. So the rocks are really important to find. The misshapen or discolored beans might not taste or look good, but the rocks are super important to make sure they're not in there. So once you have all your beans picked through, you're going to put them in a large pan with lots of water and leave them to soak overnight. 8 to 12 hours works well. So here we have our beans. These are the soaked beans in my right hand. And these are the beans before they're soaked. And you can see that they grow in size quite a bit. That's why it's so important to have a lot of water in your pan. They soak up a lot of water. And soaking them overnight will result in a more evenly cooked bean. It'll be the same consistency from the shell into the center. My beans have been soaking overnight, so now I'm going to rinse them. Oh. They're heavy. I told you, lots of water. Now I'll rinse the beans very well, and then they're ready to use. Now we're ready to put all the ingredients in the crock pot. Traditionally, Boston baked beans are made in the oven in a bean pot, but the crock pot, it's just way easier. So that's how I do it. The first thing we need is about a tablespoon of canola oil. And it's just enough to coat the bottom of your pot so nothing sticks while it's cooking. And that should do it. Just like swirl it around, make sure it covers everything. And then we'll put 1 cup of diced onion. And again, just on the bottom. So you had your coated oil on the bottom and then just layer these on the bottom. Easy enough, right? And now we'll put the beans in. So they're over at the sink. Now we'll add our soaked beans. And again, I'm using a pound of navy beans. You can use any small white bean. I like navy beans. They're kind of the smallest, I think. There we go. Now we'll mix all our sugars and spices and everything nicest. Okay, the first one is 1/4 cup of ketchup. I know it's weird, but this is vegetarian, so we have to make up for some of the lack of bacon flavor with other things, and ketchup helps. The next are 4 tablespoons of loosely packed brown sugar. It's about 1/3 cup. Now we need some mustard, and you need dried mustard. It has a different flavor and it's just what works. And we want about a teaspoon of dried mustard. Just got a little around there, that's fine though. And a teaspoon of liquid smoke. This is vegetarian liquid smoke, but it adds the smokiness that we can't use with traditional bacon, or in Boston baked beans, the real traditional thing is salt pork. And so that'll make up for that. And about a teaspoon of salt. I'm just gonna do that with my fingers. And 1/2 teaspoon or so of cracked pepper. And the most important ingredient is the molasses. This is what makes them Boston baked beans. Boston's been famous for molasses since the colonial days. In 1919, the Great Boston Molasses Flood happened. It was a horrible disaster in the north end of Boston where a huge molasses tank exploded and sent a wave running at 35 miles per hour of molasses. It's bizarre. And it sent this wave throughout the north end of Boston, killing many people and horses as well. So Boston is infamous for the molasses. So let's add that. Okay, everything's combined. So now we'll add it to our bean mixture. Now we'll just pour the mixture all over our beans. We're not going to stir the beans, so try to get it just kind of evenly around the whole pot. Oh, this smells so good. Okay, the final thing we have to do is add kombu. Kombu is a kelp that's farmed off the coast of Maine, and it adds umami to dishes. And it's a great thing to add to vegetarian beans. I put it, anytime I'm making beans, I put a piece of kombu in there too. And it's that, umami is that fifth sense. So sweet, sour, salty, bitter, umami. You want them all. They're all good. So we are looking for about a 5-inch piece of kelp. That's about right. We're just going to put that right on top of the pot. That's it. And cover our beans with water. I can't tell you exactly how much. You just pour the water in until it just barely covers the beans. Let me show. Okay, so see how it's just almost covering them. They need to be completely covered. But you don't want too much extra because you want kind of a gravy to form. That's about right. You're also going to watch these while they cook and add a little water if necessary about halfway through the cooking time. That's all there is to this recipe. We'll close it. We'll turn it on high for 8 hours. And about halfway through your cooking time, you will take out the kombu and stir the beans really well. Well, it's been about 8 hours and the beans are just about ready. I can smell them throughout the whole house. It's outrageously good smelling in here. And we'll take a look at them, and they're all bubbly and caramelized, and they just look amazing. Look at that. Oh, I wish you could smell. We really need smell-o-vision. Why hasn't that been invented? Let me give it a taste. Delicious. The beans are a little firmer than the canned variety. They're not mushy at all, which I love. And there's just a hint of smoke. I might play with maybe even a little more smoke flavor. It's pretty subtle, but I like a lot of hickory smoke, so I think I could bring it all the way up to 2 teaspoons and it still would taste amazing. But give these a try. I promise you'll never go to the canned variety again. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.